Hey everybody, so I wanted to kind of make a little bit longer video, kind of what I got going on here. So this is the 466 head or cylinder. So what I got going on here is it's a highway cylinder and piston that I bought to do a big bore on a 460. And when I got it, everything was good. And after I figured out squish and I wanted to cut a pop-up. So after I cut the pop-up, it was free porting by about that much, 55 thousandths or something like that. So that's pushed all the way up against the squish band, which I've cut, so it kind of exaggerates it. So this is a 40 or 54 millimeter 460 piston, and I've kind of cleaned it up a little bit. And I had some chipping on this cylinder too. So kind of along the edges there and on the exhaust port. It's kind of hard to see. I was able to clean most of it up, and even right along the edge of the cylinder where I decked it too. This thing is just one of those cylinders, I guess, that everywhere I touched the lining, the nickel cell just chipped. It didn't really cut, it just chipped. So as far as this top end goes, I think it's still salvageable, but I really don't care. So throw a $10 Farmer Tech piston in it and go for broke. So in order to fix the free porting and the other issues, and I wanted a high compression too, what I did was I got a 66 piston, which is 54 millimeters. So you can kind of see, kind of hard to do this on camera. So I cut a pop-up in that, and you can see how much taller it is. It's about 70 thousandths difference from the wrist pin to the top of the piston from the 54 millimeter 46 piston. And then you can also see how much longer the piston is. It's got a quite a bit longer skirt on the 66 piston. So I cut a 45 thousandths pop-up, and then I cut more out of the squish band, and then I used a 30 thousandths base gasket, and that got me back to where I needed. So it's got like 19 thousandths of squish, and it's not free porting. It's got 185 pounds of compression, and I cut the piston skirt on the intake side to get my timing. And so I started with 100 degrees of timing and 75 degrees, I think, of intake. And so this morning I pulled it apart just to inspect it. Everything was super clean. I added 2 degrees to the exhaust roof and 2 more degrees to the intake. And I'm going to put it back together and see how it runs now. It was just a little bit sluggish before. So just kind of incrementally, progressing through some of this stuff and kind of see how it goes and learn along the way. So anyway, if you got a free porting big bore 460, you can use a 66 piston and kind of get it right. And then drilled some holes right here. There's not a lot of skirt. That's actually one thing. So you can kind of see the skirt on the 66 piston right here at the ports is just a little narrower than the 460. So I couldn't widen the ports at all. And so there's not much left along the sides here of each side of the ports. So I drilled a little tiny lubrication hole on the one area that would be full bearing, I guess, on the up and down stroke. So same here on both ports. Just try and keep that one little area from galling. So that's about it. Cut squish band, deck the base, everything's nice and flat. This did have the Nicosil kind of came out onto the base a little wide, I don't know, 1/8 of an inch or so. So there's a little bit of a base or ridge right there on the base. And so I was going to deck it anyway, just to have a nice flat surface. But I like the decomp plugs on this one. Kind of hard to see on camera, but it came out about flush. The factory decomps, they kind of protrude into the combustion chamber 1/8 of an inch or so. So to me, that's going to disrupt the flow of everything in there. So flush or recessed is better in my opinion, but I don't know. All we can do is try. So anyway, I will get back to you when I got the saw back together and running, and we'll do some more test cuts. And cutting cookies isn't necessarily the end all be all of these saws, but kind of a reference for what it is. But anyway, later.